It is quite possible that I'm a perfectionist in recovery, but I don't know if that was my fault or someone else's. Um, but in my current era, I am wanting to detox my attachment to perfectionism or really um, anyone's opinion of me. So if you're feeling that vibe, hello. Not that I don't want people to like me or people to be, feel comfortable around me. I mean, I want everyone to feel comfortable around me. But if I've done, I think it's effort. Like if I've done my best and I feel like I've done my due diligence, which I do in most things, I think I should be able to be confident that if I did my best, then maybe it wasn't my fault if something didn't work out. Maybe it wasn't because something was wrong with me. Maybe it was just because it wasn't the time. So, if that's something that you're thinking about today, let's let's see. Recently, I decided that I was going to start making my life more ritualistic instead of routine based. What does that even mean? Well, it's sometimes maybe I think for me as someone with ADHD who has a hard time compartmentalizing and I have a hard time switching tasks. I have a hard time uh, initiating tasks or getting started. And for some reason, spirituality, rituals, I can sit and focus on something like chanting for hours and hours and hours, and it helps me to think and process without interrupting others or needing that back and forth. And throughout my day, sometimes I need that time to decompress. I need that time to reconnect so I can start back on what I was doing and feel important. Because what happens with my brain is sometimes I get started on my little journey, and then all of a sudden it's like a car crash of emotions. Could be from anything. And I have such a hard time with emotional letting go of that moment. Um, I think some people call this like delayed processing, but for me, it's just how my brain works. And so I might want to be in this present moment doing the tasks I'm supposed to be doing, but my emotions and my thoughts are still trying to resolve this thing back over here somewhere. So I'm sorry if that's you as well, but maybe this will help. So I started today making little rituals for myself to be a little bit more intentional, because I feel like I can engage with a ritual, something that is purposeful. It's building something, it's almost like a sacrifice for something greater. For whatever reason, this helps me when I sit and I think about, I set aside the time, I sacrifice time for myself to reflect. I should be getting something out of that time. When I sacrifice my time at work, I should be getting something back from that. And so my thing is what I'm sacrificing giving me back what I expect to get out of it? And so for me, rather than having a work routine, rather than having, routine in life, is for me, what is the ritual for my day? How are we opening my day? How are we closing my day? And how would this look? And so I used to teach spirituality and things like that. And if you notice, I have these tattoos that say perfect love and perfect trust. And so my hug is a, uh, a circle of protection. And what's interesting is there's only one person that's ever noticed that about my tattoos. And I will just give a heart for that moment. It was very sweet for me to be recognized for that after having these tattoos for years. So, but in that being said, it's a ritual. It's super meaningful, and that can be really intimidating, I think, to people. That do I think about everything this way? Like, do I put so much meaning in everything? And in stuff that I do, yes. Do I expect that from others? No. And do I need that from others to, do I need that from others? No. But for me and for people who maybe think like me, who need a bigger purpose, who need there to be a deeper meaning because maybe there's something you've been through that has been hard to overcome. Maybe there's just that delayed processing and you never really got to say what you wanted to say, so you end up accidentally betraying yourself when you didn't mean to. And then here you are 10, 15 years down the line, still not having done the thing you want to do, because in every day you didn't center yourself in what you wanted and your ritual for yourself. So I used to do this a lot, and I used to have a practice of this, but I stopped, and it's hard for me to have that consistency. So I actually used to sell and develop tools for spirituality before I became a therapist, and I really liked that, and I liked the meditative part of it. And so I always wanted to do that again, but I wouldn't sit down to make new scripts and new tools for myself, because it feels hokey pokey, right? Like it feels hokey pokey. I don't want to have to explain to people that I do this. As I was going through training in mental health, I didn't want to tell people, oh my gosh, like I am an extremely spiritual person, but it's not. It's so I can organize my brain. It's so that I can know how to function in a moment. I have a central core function, because I get distracted by the chaos of a moment, and I just want to clean up the dumpster fire. And this is how I get lost in my day. So I actually just wanted to make a ritual out of not getting lost in my day. That's really hard to say out loud, that I get lost and I get frustrated, and I want that to be other people's fault, but it's not. And so I'm trying to create tools to reclaim that for myself. And a lot of my writing and meditation stuff that I've been releasing is about that, about that inner world that people don't see, because I don't talk about it. I had conversations a few months ago with people who were saying, we've got to unmask ourselves. And I'm like, I don't wear masks. If I can't function right now, I can't function right now. I'm going to tell you what I need. If you don't give it to me, then I'm just going to leave, or I'm going to not deal with you, because I can't afford that. It's a lot harder for me to navigate. And so I get frustrated sometimes when people that I'm close with can't. And if people that you're close with are understanding, you can touch the ball, help ground yourself in that. But it can be like that when you're trying really, really hard and everything feels like a dumpster fire, and you don't know where to aim the hose to put stuff out. So anyway, so I made a little morning ritual, and my morning ritual, I'm going to do this for 30 days and see how it goes. Maybe I'll report back on it. But it includes what time I woke up this morning, what was my mood, what's my intention for the day. So today my intention is I will continue to explore how to make money from my ideas and teachings. So, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I want to be able to explore ideas with other people and make money from that, so I can spend more time doing it, because I want to develop the ideas. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they helpful? I don't know. I want to develop them. So in order to develop them to a point where they can make money, I got to problem solve that, right? So that's my job, but I would like to still share, right? And basically, I would like to share and have conversations that I want to have and make a living off of it, versus having a whole bunch of conversations I don't want to have during the day. And it feel like torture. So that's why we're making a ritual. How do I deal with the sacrifice of this time now to get to the place that I want? How do I make sure that what I am giving up on a day-to-day basis is worth the sacrifice of my time and the sacrifice of what I really love to do. So top 3 priorities was finishing my notes, finishing my work notes, and prepping for my week. This will give you more time throughout the week to do more of what I love instead of panicking the whole time. Post my video for Mindless Monday, which is going to be a video tribute to me quitting smoking, and then make some silly merch that I've wanted to make for some friends that they asked me to, and I have the designs. I just haven't put them through on my website or tried to finish anything on the website. So I'm going to do those stuff for my clothing brand. So just doing all those random things, and maybe but also there's what I like about this is I having anchor rituals. So points throughout the day where I come back to center, and this is hard. So I work in the community. I often go into spaces I'm not familiar with, and I am very comfortable, being in people's houses I don't know. I'm not judging them. I'm fine to be there. But, throughout that process, there's so much stuff coming at me at one time that oftentimes I do have delayed processing. Like, I'm there dealing with them at that moment with the rational detachment, but then I'll get in my car and drive, and my soul will just sink from something that was said to me. I have to process through that emotion, and sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's sadness, but detaching almost feels like I am abusing that person because I just left them in suffering, but at the same time they were in suffering, and they felt a little bit better because I was there for an hour, and maybe that was enough for them, and I needed to not worry, about them because they were fine before I got there. But this is what's hard for me as a person with ADHD, is to be able to just let that go, let them be okay, because they were okay before I got there, and bring it back to me, and not letting that moment that was difficult take away from me doing all the other things I need to do for my day. And this is not easy. So my morning and evening rituals are chanting. I'm trying to make doing a little video every day part of that, and not making them super long. But at the end of the day, thinking about what nourished me, what drained me, and what's something that I want to remember. So rather than letting the day determine, closing out the day by saying, I choose to keep these things and I release those. So I hope that's helpful, at least maybe at the end of the day, rather than thinking about how it didn't go well, you'll think about, what do you want to keep? What did you want to keep? What worked? What was great? What wisdom did you want to keep? What was brought to you? And then what are you going to let go? So I hope that helps. And, till I see you again, namaste.